It is 6:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. I think we have a few more people coming in, but I like to stay on time, be respectful of people's time, so we'll get started. Tonight is about giving you an overview of a huge project that we're kicking off, and it's our advanced metering system. And we're working on implementation right now, but we wanted to get out here, meet with you, give you an overview of what this is, what the technology looks like, give you some reasons why it's happening, and hopefully answer any questions or concerns that you have. So tonight, I'm going to give an overview, and then I'm going to turn it over to a question and answer session. I have several members here from GEUS that can help answer questions. They will also be available, and I will be available after the presentation if you have questions that you want to ask one-on-one, or if you just want to discuss something in particular more in depth. So, would you introduce yourself? Yes, I will. That was my next order of business. I'm Alicia Price. I'm the general manager of GEUS. Been in that role since 2018, January of 2018, and so I have several other members here of the GEUS team that have been working on this, and a representative from our consultant agency that's been helping us as well, because this is pretty complicated stuff on our side. A lot of details, touches a lot of different departments as well as all of our customers, so we want to get it right. So we'll get started. Just a little bit about the history of GEUS. GEUS has been the first in a lot of things, and Greenville's been the first in a lot of things. In 1891, Greenville became the first municipal-owned utility in Texas, and we're recognized across Texas when we're at events, things like that. You're GEUS. That's the oldest municipal system in Texas, which I think is a really cool story, because back in 1891, it was very difficult to get power if you weren't in one of the major cities, Dallas or Houston. And in Greenville, Texas, when the investor-owned utilities declined to provide electricity for residents got together in the leadership of the community and bought their own generators and started producing their own power, and have been doing that continuously since 1891. So I think that's really neat. We were also, in 2001, the first municipally owned utility to offer internet and cable TV, and we still do that today. Very proud of that as well. In another situation where leadership in the community saw a need, and citizens and businesses needed high-speed internet, and the big providers didn't want to bring it here. And in fact, the mayor at the time, Sue Ann Harding, approached those large providers, and they wouldn't even provide a date on when they could bring high-speed internet to Greenville. So again, leadership said, hey, this is something we can do ourselves, and so we did. And that's recognized too. I mean, we get calls from across the country from other utilities who are saying, we're a small community and we still don't have high-speed internet. How did Greenville do it? So the other thing is we were the third utility in Texas to offer prepaid electric service. And prepaid electric service is something I'll talk a little bit more about on another slide, but we have a lot of customers who utilize that. Over 10% of our customers utilize our prepaid electric service, and what that allows them to do is have flexibility in how they pay their bill. If they've got a tight budget one week and can only pay $50 for electric, they can manage their electricity and spend that $50, and maybe the next week they have more, so they can kind of loosen up a little bit. But it's really helpful for a lot of our customers that have difficulty paying their bill to pay those smaller increments instead of one bill for the whole month. So just a little bit on metering history, and I promise this whole presentation will not be history, but in 1891, when Greenville first started generating that power, there were probably no meters, because at that time, most electricity was charged as a flat fee. If you had that service to your home, you paid a set amount each month, regardless of how much power you used, which most people weren't using very much because they only had a few light bulbs if they were lucky. So electronic meters with the digital displays started really coming out in late 20th century, and customers were starting to get more and more of these installed at their homes. A lot of our meters are digital now. But today, we've got advanced metering technology, and it actually communicates with the utility. It uses radio frequency, similar to your garage door opener, similar to your cell phone, things like that, TV remotes, baby monitors, and it provides two-way communication. So your usage will be transmitted to the utility directly. And utilities started just really wide distribution around 2010. And one of the things I'd like to point out here is Encore reported in 2010 they had deployed 1.1 million of these meters, and of those, 25 of those were tested and proved inaccurate. Now, every meter that is installed on our system is tested and certified before that meter is deployed in the field. Before that is plugged into your meter base, those meters are tested. These meters will be tested as well. So looking around us and the surrounding communities, just looking at who has this type of technology and who doesn't. So I was telling you all how we were the first at so many different things, but this is not one of them. So GEUS and the City of Wolf City Water and the City of Cattle Mills Water are the only three utilities that are not utilizing this technology right now. So GEUS opted to not roll this out for quite some time, and there were different reasons for that. But the good news is that a lot of issues were worked out during that time between when they first started deploying these meters and today. We wanted to be sure before we did a complete change out of our metering system that the utility was ready for it and that it was the right thing for our customers and for the community. So some of the advantages for advanced metering is improved outage communication, and we'll talk about these items in a little bit more detail on another slide. Access to meters, and it's really meter data that we have better access to. Near real-time usage data for GEUS and our customers, operational efficiency, and increased accuracy of meter reading. Just to refer back to that one slide, 1.1 million meters and 25 tested inaccurate. Outage communication, I just want to touch on that for a moment. GEUS received the RP3 award last year, which was a really big deal for our utility and for the community. We were measured in several different areas. What that stands for is reliable public power provider. And our outage rates, our system interruption rates, how often your lights go out, how quickly those lights are restored or electricity is restored, was measured against national utilities across the country. Our practices, our outage management was all reviewed by a board of engineers, and we passed those tests and got that certification. But we still are not satisfied. We don't think that is the best that we can do. So whenever your home or business loses electricity, we want to know when that happens. And we'll talk a little bit about what we know now on this slide. So we can see large outages that affect a large number of customers. So we can see at the feeder level when your power is out. Feeder level means that big power line that's bringing power to your neighborhood, we can see when that line doesn't have electricity. But off that line, there are feeders going to individual homes. So coming off that power line, well, now it's going to black out on me. There are lines coming off to each individual home, and what we don't have right now is visibility down to that home level. So when we had the huge storm back in the spring, one of the things we had to do is when we restored a feeder, we had to call every customer on that feeder and say, is your power on? Is your power on? And I mean, we got questions. You can't tell if my power's on. We cannot tell today if the power's on to your individual home. We're waiting for you to call and let us know. Those feeders could have several hundred customers on that line. So we're seeing the really big stuff, but we're not seeing that to the individual home level. With these meters, we will know when your power is out quicker than you can call the utility and say, my power is out. So that's exciting for us because we don't want to wait until you've had a chance to make that call, or if you're out of town and your power's out and you're not aware of it, but you have food in your freezer or refrigerator and you get home and then you make the call. So with this technology, we will actually be able to see when your power is out at your individual home or business. So meter access. You know, today with the system that we have, we've got to physically go to your property once a month and we read your meter. And if you just moved to a new home, in order to connect your service, we drive out, we plug a meter in, we start your service. And obviously that's rolling trucks through neighborhoods, that's people going into your yard, and that happens every month. And if we can't get to your meter, there are things in the way. You know, we if we can, read by binoculars. If we can't, we have to estimate it, and then we've got issues catching up when we do get a chance to get in and read it. This solves that problem because your usage is transmitted directly to the utility. That is, your meter is polled, I believe we settled on every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes. 15 minutes. So that usage is communicated to the utility. We will still have to come out and check your meter periodically because we have a responsibility to audit these meters, a certain percentage of these meters every year, just to make sure that we're not missing any issues. So we don't want an assumption that just because that data is coming in, that it's 100%. We want to make sure that we can look at the data that's coming to us, physically look at that meter and record the usage and make sure that those match. It's just a best practice, and we try to do that in every department, every area. Try to adopt those best practices. So usage data, the GEUS and you will have more access to your usage data. So our goal is to get a portal that can be downloaded on your phone or can be viewed from a computer to where you can go in and look at your usage. And it will show your usage by day or by month, or you can look back over a longer period of time and see how your consumption changed over time. You know, for some customers, it may be, where am I? How much have I used? Am I on track? Does it look similar to last month, or should I be expecting a higher bill? And right now, it says traditionally, but right now, that customer data, your usage data, is limited to that one read per month. So much more available data for you to be able to look at and for the utility to be able to pull when you have a question. So I want to talk about safety because I know in the past there's been questions about the signals, the radio frequency signals. And so here I just want to show some of the common devices that use radio frequency for communication. And you can see here a lot of common things. I mean, a router, a thermostat, wireless earbuds, baby monitors, gaming systems, cordless phones, and a big one is a cell phone. So all of these common household items use radio frequency to transmit data. And when you look at, well, what level does the AMI meter emit versus these other items? And the Earth actually puts off more radio frequency than an AMI meter and the human body. Now, this information came from the California Council on Science and Technology. That report is out there. But if you look at the greatest offender over here, it's our cell phones, which is probably what we use more than anything else these days. So also here's just a comparison so you can see on a little bit smaller scale, just kind of everyday activities, the smart meter, and then what cell phones emit. So just a little bit more about prepay. I know I already talked about this, but today the way our prepay system works is our customers have a unit inside the house that is married to the meter that's on the outside of the house. And they have a swap card, and you can go down to several locations here in Greenville and pay to have money added to that card, and then you go back home, you plug that card into your internal unit, and it loads credit onto that so your electricity works. Well, with the smart metering system, you'll be able to load money to your account from an app on your phone, from a computer, from several different locations here in Greenville, an expanded number of locations here in Greenville. You can always still come down to customer service if that's the preferred way to do it during business hours and add money to your account that way. But this offers a lot more flexibility and convenience, especially for people who may not have transportation or have a difficult time getting in and out of their home to get to a location to physically go in and make a payment. So we're very excited to offer that. It just gives our customers flexibility. Another great thing about this is it eliminates disconnect fees. If your meter runs out, your electricity stops. When you add money, it starts again. So you are able to avoid any type of late fees, disconnect fees, and deposits, which is a huge one. If you don't have good credit and you come in, if we go on a traditional metering plan, we have to collect deposits, and we have a whole structure for that, criteria, and that's difficult for a lot of people, especially when they're moving into the community and they have all of their other deposits or down payments and things like that. On our prepay, there is currently a $100 deposit, regardless of credit, and that deposit we anticipate is going to be even lower with prepay. So it's a great option for a lot of our customers, and we're very, very proud of the fact that we can offer that. So the timeline that we're working on is by March. We plan to have all the communications infrastructure in place. By April, we'll be field testing meters. We'll start with our prepay meter upgrade in late June through July, And the reason for that is the technology that we use today for our prepay metering is obsolete. And as that, we purchased extra meters to try to get us through till we deployed AMI, and even those are failing at a faster rate. The vendor's not supporting those units anymore. So that is a priority category for us to get those upgraded so those customers don't have to come in and pay deposits and go through that process. We anticipate by September of this year, we'll begin our system-wide meter upgrade, and then we'll finish our meter upgrade in the first quarter of 2021. So it'll move pretty fast. The most time-consuming piece of this is getting all of the communications in place, making sure everything is working correctly, and testing and proving that what we have is working the way it should be. And then the rest of that is going from home to home, replacing meters with the new meters. So what you can expect, as a customer, is that every meter in Greenville will be upgraded. We will send notifications in advance of changing out your meter. And the way we're going to do that is through multiple channels. So we will have bill messages, and even if you pay your bill online, that message is going to pop up before you see your bill. So we'll have postcards, and we'll be updating social media and our website. And social media, that's Facebook, and I believe we use Twitter as well. So there will be updates there, but we won't have the day that your meter will be changed, but we will be able to tell you when we will be in your neighborhood changing meters. We will be utilizing contractors to change out some of those meters, and they will have identification on their person and on the truck. If someone comes to your door and you have any questions at all, and they can't produce identification, call GEUS and let us verify that that person is our contractor and that we know they're there. Service interruption. So when we install that meter, when we change out that meter, your power will be off at your home between 3 and 5 minutes. It's the length of time it takes that installer to safely remove your existing meter and plug in the new meter. So if you have electronic displays in your home on your microwave, your stove, those are going to flash just like you had a brief power outage, because you really did have a brief power outage. And then if we have any issues, like we get there and your gate's locked, or you have your German Shepherd out in the backyard and forgot today was a day that GEUS is supposed to be in your neighborhood, then what we're going to do is put a door hanger on your door and let you know that we need you to call us so that we can set up a time to come out and get that changed out. So billing impacts, we will be changing out around 15,000 meters. GEUS right now has around 15,000 meters. And so it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but we do change meters on an ongoing basis. So that's a process that all of our meter techs are familiar with, and we're going to capture the meter reading on your existing meter. We will have a picture of that, and then billing will take your reading at cutoff, marry those together, and produce that first bill when you get that meter changed out. And we will be attaching that documentation to your account. So we will have a record of what your usage was on that old meter as well as a new one. So while I have a captive audience, I just want to make an announcement. on our internet. So we're very excited. We recently upgraded, and in fact, we're still going through the upgrade process on our internet equipment. It's been about 7 years since we updated that equipment, and that doesn't sound very long to me, but in the world of internet and electronics, it is a lifetime. So with this upgrade, we're going to be able to offer up to 450 megabit per second in speed, which is super fast. And just want to remind everyone that there's no contract with GEUS. If you come in and sign up, we don't have an introductory rate. You sign up for internet service, whatever that rate is, that's the rate you pay. There's no increase in 24 months or 12 months or gimmicks or games. It is what it is. We operate it just like the utility. It's nonprofit. Whatever it costs to provide that service is the cost that we set as the rate to recover that cost and maintain that system. Also, a big one here, no data caps. So, you know, when you subscribe to that speed, you get that speed for however much data you use. And we have 24/7 internet help, but what we have that I think is better than that is we have real people that sit on Wesley Street that are there if you have a problem, and they are fabulous. Our cable and internet, I believe, is the best. Of course, I may be prejudiced, but I don't think so. Our cable and internet group is excellent, and if you have any kind of issue, they're typically at your home within 30 minutes. With some of the other providers, you call and they say, well, it'll be between this day and this day, or between, you know, sometime by the end of the week, whatever. Our customer service is there. Our techs are here. They're local. And they take pride in their work. They're proud of what they do and want to make sure that your service is there and reliable. So we will have packages starting at $29.95, and that's all going to kick off in January of 2020.
This video has been brought to you by GEUS 34. GEUS is your community-owned provider for electric, internet, cable TV, and true local programming.